Pay attention to the woman entering the coffee shop at 2:47 p.m. on March 12, 2024. She's wearing a cream-colored cardigan and carrying a vintage leather satchel. She orders a latte, adds 2 sugars, and sits in the corner booth facing the window. She checks her phone twice. She's waiting for someone. Her name is Khloe Winters. She is 29 years old, recently promoted to senior graphic designer at a boutique marketing firm in Portland, Oregon. She is meeting her sister-in-law for what she believes is a celebration lunch. Her brother got engaged 3 weeks ago. The wedding planning has begun. Now, pay attention to the woman who enters at 2:52 p.m., dark sunglasses, black peacoat. She spots Khloe immediately and waves. Khloe stands, smiling. They embrace. The woman removes her sunglasses. Her name is Amara Okonkwo. She is 34 years old, originally from Lagos, Nigeria. She has been in the United States for 6 years. She works as a medical billing specialist. She is Khloe's brother's fiancée. Khloe trusts her completely. Within 3 hours, Khloe Winters would be reported missing. Within 6 hours, her phone would be destroyed. Within 12 hours, investigators would discover this wasn't about family at all. This was about identity theft on a scale they had never seen. Khloe Winters had been careful her entire life. She locked her doors. She checked her credit reports. She shredded financial documents. She used unique passwords for every account. She had grown up in the digital age and understood the risks. But she had one vulnerability she never anticipated. She trusted family. Amara Okonkwo had entered the Winters family in September 2023. She met Khloe's brother, David, on a dating app. She was charming, educated, well-spoken. She worked in healthcare administration. She had a warm smile and impeccable manners. David's parents adored her. Khloe had welcomed her immediately. The two women bonded over design and aesthetics. Amara asked Khloe for help designing the wedding invitations. They met for coffee every few weeks. They followed each other on social media. Amara commented on Khloe's posts with enthusiasm and encouragement. Khloe had no reason to suspect anything. She had no way of knowing that Amara Okonkwo was not who she claimed to be. The coffee shop surveillance footage shows the two women sitting across from each other. They talk for approximately 40 minutes. At 3:18 p.m., Amara slides a folder across the table. Khloe opens it. She appears confused at first, then interested. She nods. She takes out her phone. At 3:34 p.m., Khloe hands her phone to Amara. She does this willingly. She is smiling. Amara appears to be showing Khloe something on a website. She types on Khloe's phone for approximately 2 minutes. Khloe watches. She does not seem concerned. At one point, she laughs. At 3:41 p.m., both women stand. They gather their belongings. Khloe leaves cash on the table for her latte. They exit together. The camera captures them walking to the parking lot. Khloe gets into Amara's vehicle, a silver Honda CR-V registered to a medical billing company in Beaverton. Khloe Winters was never seen entering that coffee shop again. She was never seen leaving Amara's vehicle. David Winters called his sister at 6:15 p.m. that evening. Khloe had promised to help him review catering options for the engagement party. She didn't answer. He texted. No response. By 8 p.m., he was concerned. Khloe always responded. Always. He called Amara. She answered immediately. She sounded surprised by his question. Amara told him she hadn't seen Khloe that day. David was confused. Amara had texted him that afternoon, saying she was meeting Khloe for coffee to discuss invitation designs. Amara paused. Then she corrected herself. She had meant to meet Khloe, but Khloe had canceled last minute. She apologized for the confusion. David accepted the explanation, but something felt wrong. At 9:30 p.m., David drove to Khloe's apartment in the Pearl District. Her car was in the assigned parking space. The lights were off. He used his emergency key to enter. Her laptop sat open on the kitchen counter. Her purse was on the dining table. Her phone was not there. Her wallet was not there. Her keys were not there. But the vintage leather satchel she carried everywhere, the one her grandmother had given her, sat on the couch. Khloe never went anywhere without that satchel. David called 911 at 10:02 p.m. Portland police responded to the missing person report with standard protocol. Adult missing less than 24 hours. No signs of struggle. Personal items missing. Likely voluntary absence. Detective Sarah Lundgren was assigned the case the following morning. Lundgren was a 12-year veteran of the Missing Persons Unit. She had worked hundreds of cases. She knew the patterns. Adults who disappeared voluntarily took essentials but left sentimental items behind. Adults who disappeared involuntarily left everything. Khloe Winters had left her grandmother's satchel. Lundgren started with digital footprints. Khloe's phone last pinged a cell tower in the Beaverton area at 4:47 p.m. on March 12th. The phone went offline at 4:51 p.m. It never came back online. Her credit card showed no activity after 2:30 p.m. A coffee purchase at the shop near her office. Her social media accounts showed no posts or activity after 1:15 p.m. that day. Her email showed one sent message at 3:35 p.m. The subject line read, "Account verification required." Lundgren requested the email's full headers and content. What she found changed everything. The email had been sent from Khloe's account to a financial services website. It contained her date of birth, social security number, mother's maiden name, and answers to security questions. It was a complete identity verification package. Lundgren immediately flagged the email as suspicious. She contacted the financial institution. They confirmed an account had been opened in Khloe Winters' name at 3:38 p.m. on March 12th. The account requested a credit line of $45,000. The application was approved. The credit was immediately transferred to another account, a business account registered to a medical billing company in Beaverton called HealthBridge Administrative Solutions. Lundgren ran the company name. It was registered to Amara Okonkwo. Detective Lundgren contacted David Winters at 2 p.m. on March 13th. She asked about Amara. David was confused by the question. Amara was his fiancée. She worked in medical billing. She had nothing to do with Khloe's disappearance. Lundgren asked David when he had last verified Amara's employment. David admitted he hadn't. He had met her colleagues at a holiday party. He had been to her office once. Everything seemed legitimate. Lundgren asked for Amara's home address. David provided it, a townhouse in Hillsborough he had never actually been inside. Amara always preferred to meet at his place or in public. She said she was renovating. The timing was never right. Lundgren asked David to call Amara and arrange to meet her. Somewhere public, somewhere with cameras. David agreed. At 4:30 p.m., David texted Amara asking to meet for dinner. She responded within minutes. She suggested a restaurant in Beaverton. Lundgren positioned surveillance teams at the location. Amara Okonkwo never showed. Her phone went offline at 4:45 p.m. It never came back online. The townhouse in Hillsborough was rented under the name Chioma Nwosu, a completely different identity. When Lundgren and her team executed a search warrant on the townhouse at 7 a.m. on March 14th, they found it empty. Not vacant, empty. No furniture, no personal items, no evidence anyone had lived there. But in the garage, investigators found something that made Lundgren's blood run cold. The garage contained a workstation, 2 laptops, a laser printer, a laminating machine, a camera with professional lighting equipment, blank credit cards, blank driver's licenses, blank social security cards, and a file box containing identity documents for 43 different people. Driver's licenses, passports, birth certificates, social security cards, credit cards, all in different names, all with Amara Okonkwo's photograph. The digital forensics team imaged both laptops. What they found was systematic and chilling. Amara Okonkwo, or whoever she actually was, had been running a sophisticated identity theft operation for at least 4 years. She targeted women in their 20s and 30s. She befriended them through dating apps, professional networking sites, or mutual acquaintances. She cultivated relationships. She built trust. She gathered information. And then she took everything. Khloe Winters was not the first victim. She was number 17. The investigation expanded immediately. Lundgren contacted the FBI. The case met federal criteria: wire fraud, identity theft, interstate criminal activity. Special Agent Marcus Briggs joined the investigation on March 15th. The financial trail was staggering. Over 4 years, the suspect had opened fraudulent credit accounts, business loans, and lines of credit totaling more than $3.2 million. She had established shell companies in Oregon, Washington, and California. She had fake credentials in healthcare administration, graphic design, accounting, and event planning. Every credential was professionally forged. Every background story was meticulously crafted. She had used different names with different victims: Amara Okonkwo, Chioma Nwosu, Ngozi Adeyemi, Zara Okoro. But investigators could find no record of any of these identities existing before 2019. The real question remained: who was she? And where was Khloe Winters? The laptops provided the breakthrough. Buried in encrypted folders, forensic analysts found email correspondence dating back to 2018. The emails were in a mix of English and what translators identified as Igbo, a Nigerian language. The emails referenced family in Lagos, visa applications, and immigration challenges. One email thread from 2019 caught Lundgren's attention. The sender discussed purchasing identity documents from a contact in Los Angeles. The cost, $15,000. The promise, clean background, work authorization, path to permanent residency. The email signature read, Oluchi. Lundgren ran the name through immigration databases. She found one potential match. Oluchi Eze, Nigerian national, entered the United States on a student visa in 2017 to attend Portland State University. The visa expired in 2019. No renewal application was ever filed. No deportation proceedings were initiated. Oluchi Eze simply disappeared from official records. Lundgren requested Oluchi Eze's original visa application documents. The photograph on the student visa matched every one of Amara Okonkwo's fake IDs. The hunt was no longer for a shadow. It was for Oluchi Eze. But the critical question remained unanswered. Where was Khloe Winters? Lundgren reviewed the coffee shop surveillance footage again, frame by frame. She noted the folder Amara had brought. She noted Khloe handing over her phone. She noted both women leaving together. She noted something else. At 3:33 p.m., as Amara typed on Khloe's phone, Khloe's body language changed. Her smile faded. Her posture stiffened. She leaned forward slightly, as if questioning something. At 3:34 p.m., Amara said something. Khloe's expression relaxed. She nodded. She handed over the phone. What had Amara said? Lundgren interviewed the coffee shop staff. The barista who served them remembered the women. She said they seemed friendly. She heard fragments of conversation, something about a surprise gift for Khloe's brother. A surprise gift. Lundgren pulled David Winters' phone records. On March 12th at 3:22 p.m., he had received a text from Khloe's number. Amara is helping me set up a group gift account for your engagement party. She's so sweet. Love you. David had responded, That's awesome. You two are the best. Khloe had not sent that text. Amara had. The investigation took on new urgency. If Oluchi Eze was willing to impersonate Khloe via text to her own brother, the situation was far more dangerous than financial fraud. Lundgren issued a bolo for Oluchi Eze and the silver Honda CR-V. She contacted hospitals, urgent care centers, and medical clinics within a 50-mile radius. No one matching Khloe's description had been admitted. She checked motels, extended stay hotels, and vacation rentals. Nothing. She reviewed traffic cameras along every major route out of Beaverton. At 4:12 p.m. on March 12th, cameras on Highway 26 westbound captured the silver CR-V. The driver was female. The passenger seat appeared occupied, but the angle made identification impossible. The vehicle was heading toward the coast. Lundgren deployed teams to coastal communities: Cannon Beach, Seaside, Manzanita, Tillamook. Local law enforcement distributed Khloe's photograph and Oluchi's composite image. On March 16th, a motel clerk in Rockaway Beach called the tip line. She recognized Oluchi Easy's photograph. A woman matching the description had checked into the Sunset Vista Motel on March 12th. She paid cash for 3 nights. She checked out early on March 15th. She had been alone. Lundgren and Briggs arrived at the Sunset Vista Motel within 2 hours. The clerk provided the registration card. The name listed, Zara Okoro. The clerk described the woman as polite, quiet, and in a hurry to leave. She had declined housekeeping service for all 3 days. Lundgren obtained a warrant and entered the room. It had been cleaned, but the forensic team found biological evidence, hair strands, skin cells, fingerprints, and in the bathroom trash can, wrapped in toilet paper, they found a SIM card. The SIM card had been removed from a phone and deliberately discarded. The lab extracted data from the card. It had belonged to Khloe Winters' phone, which meant Khloe's phone had been in this room. But where was Khloe? Lundgren expanded the search radius: coastal hiking trails, beach access points, vacant properties, abandoned buildings. On March 18th, a jogger on the Nehalimbe Trail reported seeing something unusual near an old fishing cabin. The cabin had been abandoned for years, but the door was slightly ajar. Deputies approached cautiously. Inside, they found minimal signs of recent occupancy: a sleeping bag, bottled water, protein bar wrappers, and a woman's cream-colored cardigan folded neatly on a wooden chair. Lundgren had the cardigan tested. The DNA matched Khloe Winters. Khloe had been here. The timeline was clear. Oluchi had brought Khloe to the motel, then moved her to the cabin. But why? And where was she now? The break came from an unexpected source. On March 20th, a librarian in Tillamook called the tip line. She had been following the news coverage. She remembered a woman matching Oluchi's description using the library computers on March 15th and 16th. The woman had spent hours online, printing documents. She had seemed nervous. Lundgren obtained the library's computer usage logs. Oluchi had accessed travel booking sites, international money transfer services, and encrypted email accounts. She had also searched for flights to Lagos, Nigeria. Briggs contacted Customs and Border Protection. On March 17th, a woman traveling under the name Ngozi Adeyemi had boarded a flight from Portland to Atlanta, connecting to Lagos. She had cleared security using a Nigerian passport that appeared legitimate, but she had traveled alone. Lundgren made the decision immediately. They were not searching for a missing person anymore. They were searching for a body. Search teams expanded their efforts along the coast. Dive teams checked the waters of Nehalimbe. Cadaver dogs worked the forested areas surrounding the cabin. On March 22nd, at 11:47 a.m., a cadaver dog alerted near a ravine 3/4 of a mile from the fishing cabin. The handler called it in immediately. Lundgren arrived within the hour. At the bottom of the ravine, partially concealed by fallen branches and coastal underbrush, investigators found a shallow grave. Inside was Khloe Winters. She had been deceased for approximately 8 to 10 days. Cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head. The medical examiner estimated time of death between March 12th and March 14th. Khloe Winters had likely died within 48 hours of leaving that coffee shop. The FBI issued an international arrest warrant for Oluchi Ease on March 23rd. Charges included murder, identity theft, wire fraud, and conspiracy. Nigerian authorities were contacted. Oluchi Easy's family was located in Lagos. They confirmed she had returned to Nigeria on March 18th. They claimed they had no knowledge of her activities in the United States. On April 2nd, Nigerian law enforcement arrested Oluchi Easy at her family's home. The extradition process began. Oluchi Easy fought extradition for 9 months. Her attorneys argued she would not receive a fair trial in the United States. They cited immigration status complications and potential bias. The Nigerian court rejected the arguments. On January 14th, 2025, Oluchi Eze was extradited to the United States. She was transported to Portland and held without bail. Her trial began on June 3rd, 2025. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence. Surveillance footage showed Oluchi and Khloe together. Digital forensics proved Oluchi had accessed Khloe's phone and email. Financial records documented the fraudulent credit application. DNA evidence placed Khloe in the motel room and the cabin. The murder weapon, a tire iron found in the cabin, contained trace DNA from both Oluchi and Khloe. The prosecution's theory was straightforward. Oluchi had befriended Khloe to gain access to her identity. Once Khloe had willingly provided her phone and personal information at the coffee shop, Oluchi no longer needed her cooperation. Khloe became a liability. Oluchi drove Khloe to the coast under the pretense of a surprise trip for David's engagement. Once isolated, Oluchi killed her. The defense argued diminished capacity. Oluchi's attorneys claim she had been exploited by an identity theft ring. She had been coerced into participating. She had acted out of fear and desperation. They presented evidence of Oluchi's expired visa, her financial desperation, and her fear of deportation. The prosecution countered with the scale of the operation: 43 stolen identities over 4 years, $3.2 million in fraudulent accounts, meticulously forged documents. This was not desperation. This was calculation. Khloe's brother, David Winters, testified. He described Oluchi's integration into their family, her warmth, her charm, her ability to make everyone trust her. He described finding his sister's apartment empty of her presence, but full of her belongings. He described identifying her body at the medical examiner's office. On the witness stand, David Winters said 6 words: "She made us believe she belonged." The jury deliberated for 11 hours. On July 19, 2025, they returned a verdict: guilty on all counts. Oluchi Eze was convicted of first-degree murder, 17 counts of identity theft, wire fraud, and conspiracy. On September 8, 2025, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The investigation into Oluchi's other victims continued. 16 women were identified as survivors of her identity theft scheme. Their credit had been destroyed. Their savings had been stolen. Their sense of security had been shattered. One victim, a 26-year-old teacher from Seattle, discovered Oluchi had opened a business loan in her name and defaulted, leaving her with $87,000 in debt. It took her 3 years to clear her credit. Another victim, a nurse from Eugene, found out Oluchi had used her identity to rent an apartment, run up utility bills, and commit check fraud. She was arrested twice for crimes she didn't commit. The FBI worked with each victim to resolve fraudulent accounts and restore their identities. The process was slow and painful. None of them had suspected Oluchi. All of them had trusted her. David Winters dissolved his engagement to Oluchi Eze the day his sister's body was found. There was nothing to dissolve. The relationship had never been real. He later learned that Oluchi had never worked in medical billing. The colleagues he met at the holiday party were hired actors. The office he visited was a temporary rental space. Everything had been fabricated. David Winters left Portland in 2026. He moved to Seattle to be closer to his parents. He rarely speaks publicly about Khloe, but he established the Khloe Winters Foundation in her memory. The foundation provides resources and legal assistance to victims of identity theft. Khloe Winters' funeral was held on April 7, 2024. More than 200 people attended. Colleagues from her marketing firm, friends from college, extended family, former teachers. Her vintage leather satchel, the one her grandmother had given her, was displayed at the service. Inside were Khloe's sketchbooks, filled with designs she had been working on. Her brother placed the satchel in her casket before burial. Those belonged to her. They always have. Oluchi Eze is currently incarcerated at Coffee Creek Correctional Facility in Wilsonville, Oregon. She has not granted interviews. She has not expressed remorse. In 2026, Nigerian authorities charged her in absentia with fraud related to passport forgery and identity document creation. If she is ever released from U.S. custody, Nigeria will seek her extradition. She will never be released. Khloe Winters was 29 years old. She had just been promoted. She had plans to start her own design studio. She was excited about her brother's engagement. She loved her family. She trusted people. She met her sister-in-law for coffee on a Tuesday afternoon in March. The cameras recorded everything. Everything. Except the truth.